Welcome back to Marketing Automation Made Simple, the podcast for digital marketers and small business owners who want to ditch the overwhelm and finally make marketing work for them. Today, we're diving into a space that sounds super high tech, but it's actually about making your customer journey feel more human. It's voice agents. I love voice agents. So I've got a very special guest with me, Arman Assadi from Steno.ai. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're
Correct.
the team behind the voice of Tony Robbins' digital AI twin. Yes, you heard that right. They built a voice agent that coaches people using Tony's actual voice. And I've tested this. It's amazing. It really is a truly amazing tool. We're breaking down what voice agents actually are, how they can be used in small business without big budgets, and what it looks like when AI doesn't just automate, but it actually connects with your audience. So if you've ever wished you could clone yourself to handle customer questions, sales follow ups, or onboarding, this episode will get your wheels turning. No tech jargon, no fluff, just real talk on how voice agent might be the next tool in your automation toolkit. So I'm going to start very simple because this is marketing automation made simple. And I want to
Mhm.
ask Arman, what is a voice agent in like plain layman terms?
Yeah, so it's two words, voice and agent. And so the first component of it is that this is a real time voice experience with an AI, meaning that it's like picking up the phone or doing a Zoom or doing this interview like we're doing and being able to interact with AI in a way that has access to some kind of knowledge base, that has a brain. And the agent component of it is that it has a set of instructions to achieve an outcome. So, these agents, the phrasing, the terminology changes all the time. Agents are the new rave. An agent insinuates that it can perform multiple functions and be intelligent enough to be adaptive to the conversation and maybe do something, take an action throughout that journey. And along that journey, maybe it does a lookup about you when you're talking to it. Maybe when I say, my name is Arman and I run Steno.ai, it looks up Steno.ai, it does some research about me so that it understands me as a prospect. Just one example, right? Understands me as a prospect and goes, okay, interesting. You guys have raised some capital. You've gotten this press. Okay, interesting. So let me fine tune my conversation to understand what you need and how I can best engage you and help you. And an agent typically has an outcome that it wants to achieve. It wants to get to a point where maybe it captures your information, maybe it books a call, maybe in Tony's case, it holds you accountable and it makes sure that you take action at the end of the call and that you commit to taking that action. And so voice agents can be set up different ways. What we're doing is multimodal. It's text and voice in one application with memory so that it remembers where you left off in the previous conversations as well.
Yeah, I really like that when I was trialing that Tony Robbins app you did, how it greeted me after a week of talking to it. And I thought, oh, let's see, let's check in with Tony. And he even said my name correctly, which is Giovanna, and not many people pronounce that correctly. So it remembered exactly, and it remembered exactly the issues and problems and challenges that I brought up during that conversation. So that was really amazing. So what's your background? How did you get into this space?
My background is that I have been an entrepreneur since I was a little kid, and I have always had aspirations of building an incredible technology company. And the way this company, I've been an entrepreneur now for 14 years. Before that, I was at Google and I tried to do the corporate thing and, get some work experience. And pretty quickly, I found myself just being too rebellious, wanting to do too many things. And I was like, okay, it's time to jump ship. So I have built different companies throughout this 14 years. And I started Steno about 3 years ago as hey, this is an interesting idea that I want to explore at the time. So previous companies had components of technology. I did mobile apps in the past. I had physical products like a daily planner. I built psychology assessment tools to help people get into flow state. I've done a lot of different things, and I've done a lot of marketing. I used to be a copywriter. I used to help some of the biggest thought leaders and experts and authors in the world launch their brands and launch their products. And 13 times we had a seven-figure product launch that we originated from scratch. So I really started to understand the intersection of technology and marketing in particular. And in 2016, there was a book that came out called The Inevitable by Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly is the founder of Wired magazine. So
Okay.
most people know Wired.com. And he's a technologist and a futurist. And there were some ideas in that book that just transformed my way of thinking about the future. And I've always been this kind of combination of this technologist, but also a philosopher. And I really enjoyed thinking deeply about where humanity is going. And I saw all of my experience helping these people, these thought leaders, these experts, these marketers launch their products and services. I was like, this is changing and it's going to change very rapidly. And so I started with one idea that quickly evolved and iterated after speaking to customers. And now here we are. Our purpose is to shape the way these thought leaders and experts and brands engage their audience and their customers in a super intelligent AI world. And it is rapidly changing. The funnel is changing. How you engage your customers is changing for all brands.
Yeah.
And if you don't step into that, as people say, you're going to be left behind. And so I wanted to be the person helping these brands pioneer
Yeah.
that
Amazing.
direction.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you said. It's exactly how I feel as well. Because I've spent about maybe close to 10 years in this space of marketing automation and tech, and I had some businesses myself, but not to the extent that you've managed to get seven. And I thought to myself, how blessed we are to be in this year to launch products, to have an idea and to be able to quickly launch products and ideas, and so it's a perfect time. It's like if you really want to make some big changes in your business and take advantage of this opportunity that AI has presented to you as a business owner, it's just going to reshape and change you. And the timing is now. It's like perfect timing to do this because I think we don't have a very long window of the change happens so quickly, doesn't it, in your field? So many things like these voice agents we're talking about, that hasn't been really discussed last year, maybe 6 months ago,
Right.
8 months ago.
Right.
Today it's like, whoa, here we go.
Yep.
I was talking to a few business owners at a networking event, and I used the word voice agent, and they were like, "What is this?" So they were quite confused about how they could make this happen, like why they need a voice agent. Why is it different to a chatbot or having a traditional email funnel? What are your
Hmm.
thoughts on that? Why do you think small businesses need to care about this voice agent's capability?
Well, the problem that we have a few different problem avenues that people come to Steno.ai for in general. And the main one tends to be content marketing at the top of the funnel. And that marketing content, whether it's books or social media or podcast or whatever it is meant to create knowledge that is accessible to many. But it's coming from one person's brain typically, or a brand, a collection of people. And that content is meant to be absorbed in long form or read or listened to. And accessing that content is difficult. Digesting that content is difficult and time consuming. And so, what AI does, what voice agents do, is make it not just accessible immediately to the person, but also they personalize it. So, the way I think about it is like there's one person creating content for many, AI is bringing that down to a personal level for one individual. So, I can take all the content from this podcast, Giovanna, and have a deep, intimate conversation that's most relevant to me and what I need right now. And that has never happened before. It's like we've collapsed the content and that knowledge base of material into one voice agent that can answer the questions that are most relevant for me. So typically, it's like they're trying to reach more people. They want to stay relevant. We live in an attention economy. And so being able to engage prospects and customers and give them the knowledge and then work them through your funnel, that's revolutionary. That
Yes,
never existed before.
yes,
And so the funnel is also changing. Instead of sending people to an opt-in page and giving them a PDF or a free video or something, why wouldn't you give them an AI of yourself, an AI digital twin that is like deep embedding connection? Because it's all about connection. It's all about trust. It's all about being able to illustrate to that individual that there's something here for you, and perhaps we can help you. And so you've never been able to do that before in this manner, in
Yeah,
this way.
yeah. Like I've been explaining to the client about, they often, especially working with coaches and other consultants or service-based businesses, they often feel overwhelmed, burnt out by doing these one-on-ones. But now they can do one-on-one. You know how the trend was one-to-many with courses and
Yeah,
online trainings. Well, now the AI tool and a voice agent can literally be one-on-one, but
that's right.
at scale. Like you could
Right.
reach everybody in a very personalized manner.
Yeah, and the other problem is that there's a natural bottleneck that exists, right? So humans were naturally bottlenecked with our time. And having a one-on-one conversation is virtually impossible with hundreds of people. Even in a small audience with a couple hundred people, if you're going to provide any level of service or any level of communication, even if it's just answering messages in a forum, it's virtually impossible, or it stretches you to the point that you're like burning out. And so this allows all your content that you go one to many to go back to one in a infinitely scalable fashion. And
Yeah,
so you can't get access to you or Tony Robbins one on one at scale unless you pay for it, usually. And if you pay certain people, it's like $1 million a day, right? So, like, how are they going to create access one on one to people? This is the
yeah,
way to.
perfect. And what I love what you said about that one-on-one and scale is, like, when we were looking to, when I was part of that startup I was telling you about, when we were looking to engage you, we were in a different time zone. You know, we were in Australia, you're in San Francisco somewhere, or
California, yeah,
yeah,
San Diego.
California, and it would have been our business time, whenever 4 p.m. or in the afternoon, and we are having a conversation with your AI avatar sales consultant,
Right.
and gave us all the answers that we would have asked you and probably wasted your time on the Zoom calls. And we were able to get all the information quickly for us. And what I loved is the seamless way of handing off to the next step. So the agent was guiding us to then take the next step, which is, would you like to book a call with the CEO of the company? And you press a button and you land on the calendar page.
Yeah.
And it was all very seamless and quick. And I felt like there was urgency that I had to book this call. Otherwise, I don't have access to this landing page anymore. So I had to do it.
Mhm.
That
Mm.
scarcity. And also it's super easy because there was no back and forth of how we're going to organize this and what's your time zone and all those emails and communications. So it was very clever. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it allows us to reach people anywhere in any language. So many of the people that talk to Leo, our sales agent, are in the Netherlands, are in France, are in India, are in Turkey, and that allows us to scale to anybody, anywhere.
Yeah.
And they'll speak English when we get on the sales call, but they're like, "Well, my native language is, Serbian. Why wouldn't I, speak to them in my preferred language?" And so it allows them to have a deeper, more intimate conversation as well. And it's physically impossible, even if we build a huge sales team, to meet everybody exactly when they want to meet. And so that allows us to collapse the amount of human time necessary. There's still human touch, there's still human in the loop in the sales process for us, because that's actually a differentiation in the market that we have, is like, we onboard, we meet with you, we do that, but you were 90% pre-sold, because not only did your questions get answered, you, in our case, interacted with the product as well.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's the demo, like,
Yeah, exactly. You've done 60% of the job of demoing. And I
yeah,
think you kind of inspired me to do that in my business as well. We've set up an AI virtual receptionist, Jess, and then I set up the website widget, which is also Jess, and I wanted to keep it consistent so they're talking to the same person. And since then, people have been using it, and I still have small businesses, especially in Australia, local businesses, they don't understand that you can talk to AI and that AI sounds very human, sounds very like realistic. They
Right.
often think of, when you call a telecommunications company and you get the robot AI machine talking to you and you have to try and explain your problem, but they are basically just trying to push you into their direction, which is really what's the terminology I'm trying to use when it's all predetermined, whereas
Yeah.
AI quickly thinks on its feet and can
Yeah.
actually relate to the problem and direct you to the right department that you need to talk to.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're thinking of like calling your cable company and it's like this really robotic sounding voice agent. And when you say something, it doesn't understand what you want. It's not dynamic. It's just following a script.
Yes.
Whereas an AI voice agent is so dynamic and fluid. And we train it to say like, these are still the steps, but allow for some fluidity in a human way to have a dynamic
Mm.
conversation, meet the customer where they're at, but still achieve the outcome. Back to
Yeah.
your original question, like what really is an agent? That's the technology that, as you said, even 6 months ago, 9 months ago, wasn't really possible.
So, what do you think a small business owner might want to do first when they're starting to experiment with voice agents?
Yeah, it depends on the kind of business, but what you described for your business is a perfect use case. I think anybody that is trying to meet people in a personalized way, help them understand the product or the service, educate them, engage them on the lead side, that's very valuable. On the customer side, we have a lot of customers that literally monetize their AI digital twin. So it opens an entirely new revenue channel, like for Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins has this funnel that leads you to his product. You download it from the App Store. It's $100 a month. Some people charge $30 a month, but there's a range. And that opens an entirely new revenue channel that didn't even exist before, right? So with no lift, you're utilizing the same content that you already have, utilizing it in a different way to create access to people. So there's kind of the lead side, the education side. There's leading people to engaging and understanding your service. There's like qualifying the lead and being able to book a call. And then on the back end as well, you can either monetize, or a lot of customers say they have a community or courses or a platform where they're educating, maybe they're coaching, right? And so those people, you have all this content in a platform, like let's just say Mighty Networks or something, right? And you're delivering value to them. They're paying a subscription, but imagine having an AI digital twin companion that's voice and text, and it's trained on all that content. So instead of having to sit and go through every video, or you remembered something Giovanna said in one of the videos, instead you just go to, Giovanna AI, and you have a question about that content in a personalized way that's relevant to you. Maybe you have a video on how to set up Meta Facebook ads. And it's a general piece of content. But now I can take that and talk to the AI and say, okay, here's my business. Here's my budget. Here's my risk tolerance. What do you recommend? And it's
Mm.
trained on the knowledge base that you provided. So
Yeah.
a
Is it
variety of use.
expensive? Is it expensive to set up?
So no, it's not. In fact, people keep telling us like, "Whoa, that's like way less expensive than I thought it would be." So currently, as of the time we're recording this video, we have no setup fee for the entire creation of the training of the AI. And so all you're paying for is the usage of the AI on a subscription. And those subscriptions start at $500 a month, and they go up to tens of thousands for our enterprise customers that utilize these things at scale. And it's just about, the number of people that are engaging with it. So if you have a few hundred people on a monthly basis that are going to engage with your AI, your starting subscription price is
Yeah.
$500.
Oh,
And you're
that's
talking about, comparing that to humans and the cost of labor and those calls, and what's the value of that to your organization.
I'm just thinking about obviously Tony Robbins has a massive audience. He's got the brands behind him. How did people respond to this? Do you have any idea as to how did his
Yeah, I have a
customers
lot of
respond?
Yeah, I mean, it's been. I can't even put words to it. I mean, people should go and just go to the App Store, on like your iOS App Store, and if you look at the reviews and read them, it just speaks for itself. It's people ecstatic and happy. It's people emotional. Their problems are being solved. They're getting access to this knowledge in a unique way that they never could before. I mean, their minds are just blown.
Mhm.
They're like, it literally feels like having that person, Tony, in my pocket. I never in a million years would have had access to him in this way.
Mm.
Uh, and so it's incredible.
Yeah.
Tony just said the other day that apparently the CEO of Amazon, Andy Jassy, is talking to Tony Robbins AI. Like, one of our users is the CEO of Amazon. I'm like, what the hell? And he's, and so, you'd have to ask him what he thinks, but the fact that like it's mind
Yeah,
blowing to
yeah.
me.
I have to say, it's amazing. Definitely, I highly recommend to the listeners to go to Tony Robbins' international website and start the trial with Steno.ai tool and see how the interaction is. Because I actually felt a deep connection with the tool. First, it was kind of, oh, this is new. It's strange to use this. I'm talking to my phone. But
Mhm.
then after it was personalized, after I touched base again and I called Tony again, I actually felt more connection. And now I had to. It was on a trial, so now that he's no longer in my life, I feel like, oh, I'm missing something.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I
Yeah, absolutely.
also feel like I can pick up the phone and call him again, which is great.
Right, right. Yeah. And we have amazing customers. I mean, Peter Diamandis, Margarita Passos. I mean, there's so many, Gerard Adams. There's all these great marketing and business thought leaders that are utilizing this way to engage their audience in a new way that they couldn't before.
Mm.
And I think the coolest part for somebody that's creating a twin of themselves in particular, like we have some customers that want us to kind of create a character, right? Which is totally cool too. Like maybe their brand, they don't want to be the face of the brand, or they don't want themselves as the AI, which is totally fine. But for the ones where it is an individual, we're essentially cloning their voice and it sounds almost exactly like them. So it's a bit of a trip for them. Dan Locke is one of our new
Mm.
big customers,
Wow.
marketing genius. And the way he's approaching his AI, people will see soon. It's going to be revolutionary. Some of the things he's doing, it'll be different from how Tony's approaching
Mm.
his.
So you're customizing it for each
Customizing
customer.
the way that he's selling it, the way that he's delivering it, what he wants his AI to do. Um, he's really thinking differently about like this is the future of how you engage your audience and you pull them into your ecosystem. And the best way to pull them in, I was talking earlier about getting the email and delivering value. What an incredible way to deliver value right away. Like free, just give it to people for free. Get them in, get them engaging with it. And then if you want to monetize it, you can monetize it. But then the AI can also upsell your products, your events, your services intelligently based on the context of what the person is talking about.
Hmm.
So it knows when to say like, well, I have an event coming up, or you asked me a lot of questions about like how to be more profitable. I have a whole course on like creating a profitable business. You can check it out. It's
It's
selling for you.
Yeah, it's doing more than just talking. Yes.
Right.
I was thinking about using AI or voice agent to talk, and I haven't seen this, and I don't know. I'm not a developer by trade, so I don't know if you're capable of, or if any platform is capable of doing this. But if you have a form and you're talking to a form and you fill in the fields of the form, is that possible with the voice agent? Can a voice agent fill out a form?
Can it fill the form out?
Yeah.
That's a great question. So, what AI and agents in general are shifting to, yes, allows like ours is currently not designed to do that. But if we're just speaking generally about technology, yeah, a lot of like what is called computer use, terrible naming conventions, but is allowing agents to go and actually perform functions. So, if you
Yeah.
use, just example, like most people use ChatGPT. So, if you click the little agent button, it is going on, like, say I want you to plan an itinerary for me for my next company offsite. Well, in order to do that, it has to go find flights. It has to plug in the dates that you want to go for finding hotels. And that's exactly what the agent is doing. It's going on the internet and in hyper speed, filling out forms and doing it for you, and then coming back to you with the result. So yeah, the tech is in a place where the agent is compatible with the internet, and the internet is evolving to be more compatible with agents now.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole infrastructure of the internet is starting to change to
Yes.
be more friendly to agents engaging and interacting with their websites and forms.
Yeah, because I would really love for them to be able to collect the data information. It can be in a CRM or some kind of a platform for marketing purposes. That would be amazing. So, do you think the future? What do you think the future is in this space?
For our space in
Yeah.
particular, or more
Yes.
generally?
Well, we can be philosophical, general.
Well, I mean, it is really hard to play futurist and have the crystal ball, but I can clearly see that, and we might hit some thresholds. A lot of people have concerns right now that with GPT-5 there are improvements, but maybe we're starting to get diminishing returns. And I don't want to get too technical here, but the LLM architecture could have limitations, and we might have to reinvent and come up with a new way to create an S curve that allows another exponential leap in the technology to move forward. But in our world, the way I see it is the emotional expressiveness of the AIs is just going to continuously improve. The capability for it to understand your emotions and to express emotions back to you and be happy, be sad, be direct, be, whatever it needs to be is going to really improve. And so they're just going to become more and more human. Video technology is going to improve. Right now, AI video still is uncanny.
Yeah.
It has this like, kind of emptiness to it. And I think it's going to start to feel more full, more human, more engaging. And so digital video avatars will be a thing that people will absolutely see and engage with online and in apps and on the internet. And so you're going to be talking to what looks like, I mean, eventually it'll be indistinguishable. Like my AI will be able to do this interview for me, and it'll be very fluid and it'll be very dynamic, and it'll answer this question in a way where it's like, I know that's an AI, but it's pretty damn close. It's really close.
Yeah.
So whether that moves into augmented reality, meta glasses, being able to engage with digital avatars in their own world, holograms. I mean, the sky is kind of the limit
Yeah.
potentially with what that
Yeah,
looks
and I
like.
and I also think is it OpenAI is going into devices now as a category, and some people are talking about having like your phone is just one button, like Tony Robbins style, where you just call or talk to this phone, and it can just organize things for you. That you don't
Yeah,
need so many apps.
right, right.
But I also think
Unification.
yes, yes, and I also think because AI requires so much energy to consume. It consumes so much energy. I don't know if we have enough energy to support this technology in the future. I don't know.
Yeah,
We
well,
have to build more or go nuclear or something.
they're building like crazy in the US. And, I think a lot of the world is seeing that. And the world is changing for sure. Energy reliance on countries, I mean, even just politically, of course, things are changing. But yeah, we need more compute power. And
Yeah.
we need these huge data centers to support all of the compute, not just to train the models, but the compute when people are engaging with AI systems, like the actual users. 700 million weekly active users on just ChatGPT. That's like a huge chunk of the world. It's
Yeah.
10% of like the population of humanity. And so that's just going to keep ticking up. And so we need a lot of power
Mm,
for
cool.
sure. Yeah.
Well, I have one more last question for you. What's one thing business owners often misunderstand about AI or automation that you wish more people knew?
Misunderstand. It's a good question. I think that they are viewing it through a singular lens of, and it depends on the level of how technology like native a person is and how interested they are in this stuff. And so this won't speak to everybody, but there's a huge percentage of business owners where all they really know about AI is what the latest LLM model experience was and provided them. And so and again, this is risky, but I think for most people that were on like just the general free plan of ChatGPT, the upgrade is pretty big to GPT-5. And so, but still, they view AI through that lens of what ChatGPT is. And AI as infrastructure for startups, for companies, and what it's doing in the workplace and how it's changing things with agents and all the application companies that are built on top of that infrastructure is so crazy and moving so fast that it's really important to sit and think about all the things your business does that are maybe not automated and start to landscape that out and say, where are there humans in the loop, or where are there bottlenecks in my processes where an agent could come in and perform a lot of these functions for me? So it's kind of a separate world from just talking to ChatGPT. It's a much more complex system of opportunity for what's possible in a business. And so I would say what they misunderstand is actually the capabilities. And maybe they went to ChatGPT once, like a year ago, and they were like, "This thing is dumb." I asked it a very simple question, like, "What's the weather today?" and it didn't know, you know. And now it does, but it didn't at that time.
Yeah.
And so, okay, that's AI. I don't need it. I
Yeah,
don't
they
want it.
walk away. Yeah, so many of those.
Yeah,
Tried it once, or they just keep using the free version of ChatGPT. They don't even know the capability and what it means to once you upgrade and go
yeah.
beyond just asking three or four prompts.
By the way, for what it's worth, the model I'm using most these days is actually Gemini.
Right.
The Pro 2.5 model is
Yes,
incredible.
it's
It's incredible.
incredible.
So, like, as a business owner, having a thought strategist, a deep thinking thought strategist, it also comes with a 1 million token context window. What does that mean? It means like you can upload almost like a million words, like books of content to speak to. It could be all your files, all your customer chat logs and chat history of your customer support. You could just upload all of that and be like, I want you to pull out, how do people refer to our product? What are the problems they have? Or I do it for legal all the time. My attorneys hate this, but the reality is, like, some of these like systems are really good for legal work. Not 100%. I wouldn't tell somebody like that's a legally sound document, but it actually eliminates 90% of the billing hours I need. And then I have, hey, attorney, here's the document. Just improve it. Make it
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
bulletproof. I did 90% of the work for them.
I think more lawyers should be using AI, but I don't know if they should, if they want to, if they bill by the hour.
Right, exactly. The incentives are not aligned. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Is there a question that I haven't asked you that you think would be worth knowing for our listeners? Is there anything else that you want to share?
That's a good question. I think just knowing the impact, like what is really the impact in my organization once I do this. You did allude to that, like what do people that utilize the Tony Robbins AI say? But I think people underestimate the impact because I watch the entire sales journey, right, of all of our customers. I know exactly who they are up front. I do a lot of the demos. We close the customers, we bring them on board, we onboard them, and then we kind of enter this customer success journey together. And the journey really starts after the AI is created. There's so much that our customers are learning about their customers and then improving the AI, and the impact that that creates to their organizations, I think is really overwhelming, and they underestimate how impactful AI can be for their organization. And so, it's both qualitative and quantitative. There's a clear measurement that can be improved on their KPIs, conversion rates, average order value, everything ticks up. And at the same time, qualitatively, all of their audience, just like you said, when you talked to our agent, it was just like, wow, this thing answered so many of my questions. And I just feel so much more sold on the process and what the product is and what it can do for me. And that creates such a deep brand affinity and connection. Like our customers just love us. They're like raving fans. And I've been a business owner for 14 years. I've never seen anything like this. I've never had customers love us this much,
Yeah.
you know.
No, it sounds great. Congratulations on that. It's a really great product. I really love it. So where can people find you?
Well, if you're
Okay.
watching the video, Steno, I just happened to be wearing one of our company shirts today. So Steno.ai and Arman Assadi online. Yeah.
Amazing. I'll share your details as well in the show notes. So, to listeners, thanks for tuning in to Marketing Automation Made Simple. If your brain's buzzing with ideas, that's great. That's the point of today's episode. And a huge thanks to Arman for showing us that voice agents aren't just for tech giants. They're accessible, powerful, and when used right, a game changer for saving time and deepening customer connection. So if you're curious to see how voice agent could fit into your business, check out Steno.ai, download Tony Robbins app, and if you're ready to build marketing growth systems that actually work for your business, you can head to bumperleads.com and we can work together to simplify things for your business. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Arman. Have a great day.
Thank you for having me, Yvonne. Appreciate it.